If I told you the Avs played a game where they started their third string goaltender and got 0 points from their top six and Cale Makar, what would you think the outcome would be? Apparently, it's the Avs winning comfortably. Avs win over the Columbus Blue Jackets 4-0. In many ways, there's very little to say about this game for Colorado. The casual dominance that they continue to output regardless of the situation just seems easy. Columbus never felt all that competitive in this game, and once the Avs got a comfortable lead, they kind of cruised their way home. The first period was by far the most dominant period of the game for the Avs. They just took over the game and would not take no for an answer until they scored not once but twice. And despite some hodgepodge mix and match forward depth because of some of the injuries, they still just outwork Columbus and get the job done. All the classic signs of controlled chaos are on display in the Avs' first goal. When the Avs recover pucks in their own zone, they get going north in a hurry. Sometimes it gets themselves into trouble, but they do it anyway because it creates so much for them. Plays like this. Nuke just gets it up to Gavin Brindley, who just goes to the net. It's not even a particularly dangerous shot, but look at the chaos it creates. You only have 2 Columbus players back compared to 3 up the ice for the Avs, and you had 3, but one of them ate it, lost his stick, and ends up actually crashing into his goaltender. So that's maximum chaos as Colton collects the puck, is given space because of that chaos, and looks to get it back to the dangerous area where Brindley fights and works to keep position. That's the hard work that you should get rewarded for. Now, Brindley doesn't get rewarded directly, but when Colton's attempt comes skipping out, by now Columbus has, in theory, recovered defensively, but all 5 of them have way overcommitted deep into the zone to just 3 Avalanche players deep, and that skitters out to Brent Burns, who uses the space he's given and fires a beautiful shot that only a veteran like him can find, and the Avs have the lead. Look, the NHL is a tough league. In theory, at least, it's supposed to be difficult to create scoring chances, but when you look at what the Avs have on their third line especially, they're able to get to the dirty areas and create those chances at a fairly high rate. Yes, I think you would absolutely love for both Colton and Brindley to finish a little bit better this season, but good things happen when you create those opportunities, and a wily vet like Brent Burns always knows where to be. By the way, after this game, Brent Burns would make it into the top 15 in goal scoring for defensemen. Reminder that he's 40. So much success from the Avs' depth really does come from their defensemen. Not that their forward depth is good. We'll get into that in a little bit. But their defensive scoring is pretty much like nothing the NHL's ever seen. That was the 1-0 goal. The 2-0 goal is purely the depth forwards. Not a ton of analysis on this play. Just look at Parker Kelly go to absolute work on this board battle and refuse to lose the thing. As the play continues to develop, they just keep working until ultimately right there he gets it out of danger. He gets it on a Jack Drury's stick right here. Drury's able to find just a little soft spot in the triangle. Really, it's more of a diamond that Columbus has created. Once Olofsson sees that they have possession, he just starts skating towards the net front area. He doesn't even get all the way there as Drury realizes what's happening. Drury, perfect timing on this. Gets rid of the puck right as Columbus is collapsing on him, and Olofsson's quick movement has gotten him body position on the high defending Columbus player. He is on his backhand here, which makes this tough, but he puts the beautiful finish on it anyway. I mean, that's mostly just pure grit and hard work to get done what you need to get done, but Victor Olofsson with the nice finish. Obviously, I haven't said that as much as you would like this season, but he is a guy that should have that finishing ability that can get that done for you, that you should be able to trust to put the puck in the back of the net. Olofsson snaps an 11-game pointless streak with a guy who has a skill set like he does. That's just far too long. You need to see him jump off from this point and start producing regularly again. It's 2-0 after 1. The Avs are in full control here, and in the second period, I guess you could say Columbus pushed. It was probably their most dangerous period of the game, but honestly, their push just wasn't that scary. Miner made some good saves, but didn't really feel like Miner ever needed to make a great one. You feel like volume is reasonably high in this game. Miner had to make 29 saves to complete the shutout, which he ultimately got, but again, that all seemed like mostly routine stuff for him. Given the tilt of the ice, the pace of the game, and how things were going, when the Avs score again halfway through the second, it felt like a dagger. Once again, pace up the ice. If you're not ready for it, the Avs will kill you with it. Miner, a big rebound off that save, but it almost kind of helps spring the Avs as Burns gets it up to Olofsson, and it's a 3-on-3 up the ice quickly. Now, Not a great pass from Olofsson there. It actually slows the Avs down a little bit, but Columbus continues to have issues with their back check coverage as they leave mountains of space for, in this case, Solovyov to use. He walks in just about all the way to the dot, and for a guy with 0 NHL goals, shoot it with confidence, kid. He just beats Merzlikins clean. The first goal of his career for Solovyov. Congratulations to him. And he's put together a good little stretch of games here, picking up 3 points over his last handful and doing a great job of showing me that I might have been wrong about him. Just a couple days ago, I was saying the Avs could maybe claim a guy off of waivers to replace him. But over these last handful of games, the way Solovyov has played, you're much more comfortable with him as a 7 if that's what it's going to look like. Now, a 3-game sample size does not make anything a guarantee. If he slips back into some of those very rough games we saw from him earlier in the season and or even earlier in this stretch of hockey that he's been playing, it's going to become an issue. But if he continues to play like this, fantastic. The Avs are in a portion of their season where they need to play with what they have. They're dealing with some injuries, and the trade deadline is still far enough away that they don't really need urgency to go out and find guys. They've given themselves the benefit of the doubt there with the position they put themselves in the standings, that even if it doesn't go great, they can absorb a little bit of that. But also, you can find ways to get guys going like they have in this game. You can find some success in maybe places you didn't expect it, like from Solovyov. So you head into the third period expecting the Avs to take care of business here, and they do. It's not a particularly interesting third for the most part, but why not add a meme goal whenever you can? Here's the thing. Brent Burns simply cannot be analyzed. It's a nice zone entry, and the Avs get a good setup here to set up Brent Burns for this shot, and Burns lets it go. All of that is good. I can analyze that. What I can't analyze is this puck going in, getting on net, bouncing up, hitting the defenseman in the chest, and then doing whatever it does to trickle into the net. That, nobody can analyze that. I don't know how Brent Burns keeps doing this. I guess just high volume leads to some funny stuff sometimes. Either that or Brent Burns might be a Jedi who knows mind control, which if that's the case, I will absolutely take it. Obviously, pucks bouncing in off of defensemen is not something you're going to be able to consistently rely on, but pucks to the net creating chaos is something you can rely on. And Brent Burns is maybe one of the best in the league at doing that. And the Avs walk away with a 4-0 win, getting Trent Miner his first win and shutout of his career too. Real fun stuff. And all of that, again, without much superstar production. Not that they didn't necessarily play well and control play and all that, but the Avs can do it from anywhere. After bopping Ottawa 8-2, this 4-0 victory kind of cements the Avs as the best home team in the NHL. This Columbus team wasn't on a back-to-back. They didn't have that crazy, difficult travel. They came in from Vegas, which, it's Vegas, sure, that's another tough team, but you had the day of rest in between. And the Avs created a game that was never close. People like to not count out the bottom of the East because of how ridiculously close that division is, and I think that's a fair take. But the Avs are showing there's a difference between the teams at the top and the teams at the bottom. Both Ottawa and Columbus are at the bottom of the East, and they were not competitive with the Avs. Parker Kelly, Gavin Brindley, Victor Olofsson, and Brent Burns all end up with multi-point games. That's what depth dominance looks like. That is the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching. I am Rudo, and watching hockey in person is still super fun.